fucking blow it up in front of them. I mean, it's hype. It keeps things interesting, but then you feel
so
silly.
good.
Okay, let's try intro music again. Friends of the Twitch, forgive my moments of absolute failure. Okay. If I bring up anything that you're like, let's not talk about that, just let me know and I'll take out the final episode. This will go straight to Twitch, but then I'll take it off of there and it'll go to YouTube in like a month with clips.
Okay. What's Twitch?
Twitch is a live stream forum that people use mainly for like gaming, but they also do it for music production, music live shows. It's the equivalent of a Facebook Live or a YouTube Live, but it's oriented just around that kind of experience.
Okay.
And the really nice thing about it is it's integrated for like, it's like a tipping platform. So you'll get much more of folks like coming in and supporting their favorite streamers by dropping $5 for a song request, or if they're watching you play a game and you give them a hint for that game that they've been waiting for. It's like there's a lot more transaction going on there.
Oh.
Yeah, whereas like Facebook, you'd have to hit up somebody on Venmo, or maybe you can pay through Facebook, but that shit sounds sketchy to me. Mm-hmm. But without further ado, Ceris Christopher, thanks for coming on, Blair.
Thanks for having me, Matt.
The owner of the beautiful The Belle the Bear in Montgomery, Ohio. And then you said you used to manage bands in Canada.
Yes.
It's like the coolest backstory for a movie you could ever start with, just like Canadian spin-off of some kind of like Rolling Stones debaucherous film. Why did you get into managing bands?
Oh, it was just I've always loved music, and I was raised in Toronto, and a lot of my friends or boyfriends at the time were in bands, and it's my personality. I've worked in bars and clubs since I could even like 16, 17, and I just knew what I was doing, so I did it for local bands.
Yeah, and you've always just been like a business savvy type of person? Mm-hmm. Are you a contracts heavy kind of person, or are you just like, no, I'll shake down a bar manager at the end of the night if we need to?
I'll shake down a bar manager at the end of the night if I need to. But obviously when it comes to business, you need the contracts because that's what's going to hold off in court. But
Absolutely.
For the most part, yeah. Yes.
Well, and you seem like a very concise speaker. You're not going to say things that you don't necessarily mean, and you're not going to voice it as something that's not. Like, let's just get to the point of what we're doing here.
Yep.
And how old are you when you start managing bands?
Oh, probably 22.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was like on and off, because I also kind of backpacked around the world and traveled around the world. And so when I was back in Toronto, when there were like a new local band would come in, that's when I would like come home and I would start helping out that band and stuff.
When did you start this backpacking experience?
When I was 18.
Holy shit. So like right out of high school, like pack up everything you got?
Yeah, pretty much. I went to college. The way I picked a course was I closed my eyes and whatever it landed on is what I was going to go to school. It just wasn't for me. I didn't really feel it. So I moved out on my own when I was 16. So, or 15 actually. So I was like working full time and going to school, and just packed a bag and was just going on a vacation for a week and just ended up staying for like 6 months.
Holy shit.
And then came back, worked a little bit more, and then just did this. Then went back, and then I just did that for a few years, moved to Australia for 3 years, and then...
In that first experience, where'd you kind of end up spending most of your time at?
I was in Mexico.
Cool.
Yeah, I was in Mexico for my first one.
And that kind of felt... Was it because it's local enough that you could get in a car feasibly and get home if you needed to? Or was it just wanted to go somewhere warmer, sweeter?
A friend of mine was like, let's go. I was bartending at this bar called Tonic, this nightclub in Toronto. And she's like, let's go on a trip. I said, cool, no problem. We were doing an all-inclusive vacation. And when it was time to come home, I just didn't. And I just found a place to stay, like pretty much. It was like in Punta Mita, if I'm not mistaken. And there just wasn't a lot of, this was many years ago. It's because I'm almost 45 now. But there was maybe 2 resorts in this like rainforest, and like across the street were these like little huts of houses that you could just kind of like, I just kind of got one and then stayed there, and That's just what I did.
And are you paying like weekly rent bartending somewhere?
Yep.
Or cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting, like, people don't see bartending as a career path the way that they should. The amount of doors you can open by just being able to do the simple things of keeping stock ready to go or making a fancy cocktail. It's like it's a more universal language than people give it credit for.
Yeah, I mean, I bartended my way traveling around the world was through bartending.
And
That was that.
how'd you deal with language barriers when it came to bartending?
I just pretty much was like, I don't know what you're saying. Remember what you said in the beginning of the podcast? You're like, you pretty much sound like you say what you just want to say. That's just, I was like, I don't know. You want a rum and Coke? Let's go. Let's go. Beer, it was just pretty much. But most of the places that I did visit, I was smart about it as I made sure that they were majority English speaking places. So that way I could get a job without having to worry
Gotcha.
about that.
And that first time you came home, were you a different person from this experience? Or were you like, no, I've figured out who I am doing this and I'm going back?
I don't think I've ever figured out who I am. Okay, I think you learn a lot about yourself every time you're taking an adventure on your own. So I think I just kept learning and I just wanted more.
And do you think that folks that have never taken that adventure on their own really don't find that aspect of themselves?
No, because I think everybody's different, and I think there'll be some other kind of avenue that they'll find themselves. Some people don't have that part of adventure in them. They'll have a different kind of adventure. Some people, it all depends. I think independence in general, or maybe being forced sometimes, or maybe, I don't know the wording, but independence in general will make you figure out who you are a lot quicker than if you didn't have to worry about something.
Yeah.
So I think people miss out on a lot by not experiencing life in other places.
Well, I think like Instagram culture and Facebook culture, like there's more solo travelers now to look at and say like, oh, I want to do that. I want to go to that place because they show me that video. Whereas you did this at a point in time where there's almost no communication back to where you were.
Yeah.
And I think there's a different sense of the self in that. Like nowadays when you take any trip, it almost feels like, what am I bringing back to my Facebook page? Like I even told people that about my honeymoon. Every time I took a picture and I thought about posting, I was like, you piece of shit, what are you here for? Like your wife's right there and the bar is unlimited.
Right.
Why do you care about putting something online? But it's made its way to the bottom of all of our brain stems, and we kind of think about those things.
We do. It's definitely, and I don't necessarily, I mean, I used to get so angry at myself, but then I started realizing Facebook is a place where I do get to post the things that I do want to post and let people see, because this is a really cool adventure. And I swear a lot.
Please.
Oh, okay.
Fucking let it fly,
I was gonna say I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but it's like, Facebook is the place. I don't like it for the people battling each other on it, but I like it for exactly what it should be used for, in my opinion, which is, look at this cool fucking thing I got to do. This is totally rad, and I think you should all fucking experience this. But I think you and I are probably similar in this. We might post maybe 5% of what happens in our life on Facebook or social media, and the rest nobody knows about. But those really cool fucking pictures, I want you to see that, because this was rad.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, too, when you have a work outlet that requires that medium more than you personally require it.
Yeah.
Like, again, there's a transactionalism to it. And when you have to make an event about a band coming through, or I need to make an event about a tour date or something like that, there's a really clear reason to why I'm on and when I get off. Yeah.
So my work Facebook page is like a full-time job, but I love it, and it works, and it brings a lot of people together, and it makes a lot of people laugh, and it also shows people what's happening in this music. Like it helps the music and everything like that. That's different. My personal page is really, I don't even post that much work stuff on my personal page, but I post, look at this cool adventure I went on. That's what I did.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Wedding pics and combat boots. like the ultimate, like, this is who I am, now we're moving on.
Yeah, now we're moving on. Or my dogs. Yeah.
Well, in that kind of, I want to talk about different aspects of your life in owning the bar, but also just like how you approach that through being a bartender that's traveled the world, just being yourself and laying the medium of interacting with people, being a drink and your time. Like, you're talking about your staff as being this group of people that really make that place. People don't give credit to the fact that as a bartender, you're going to be required to talk to this person as long as they sit there and drink. And that means it gets worse as time goes on.
Sometimes it really does.
I mean, some of these heroes are drinking themselves to sleep at the bar, you know, and you got to kind of make quality decisions in the conversation about what might make them drink more and whatnot.
Yeah. What's the question though?
What do you think young bartenders need to know about personal interaction that keeps folks coming back to you?
So, a long time ago, I would have said, as a bartender, don't be yourself. I mean, put a little bit of yourself in there, but you're in character now. This is your character now. You are exactly who they want you to be, and that's how you're going to make your money. And this was a long time ago, like when I started. I would say, now, your personality needs to shine through because that's what's going to, if you have a decent personality. Unfortunately, I've worked with some people that have nasty fucking personalities, and they should never let that stuff shine through. But nowadays, I feel like the more real you are with who you are, people almost appreciate that more. But you're still always on show. So you still always have to make sure you're putting a little extra effort into that one certain person that you know is going to need it, or that sort of stuff. But
yeah, there's not a requirement to be agreeable the whole time.
You gotta, like, I have a rule. We don't talk about politics and we don't talk about religion in the bar.
Yeah.
We just don't, because it's just not, I don't even care if you agree on it. It's just not a good idea.
Yeah, because someone that's going to be sitting next to them is going to be the person that causes that issue.
And there are too many avenues to people to be like, this place fucking sucks and I hope it fucking burns in hell. And you just don't want any of that, so we just avoid that altogether.
Yeah, but I feel like talking about bands on the internet to a lot of bands is politics and religion. I mean, you go on all around town and you give them your mind in a very honest sense. And I imagine that some of these people walk through the door with a motivation to scream at you about something, and it's like, sit down, do you want to drink or not? There's only two options about how this goes. Either you walk back out the door or I serve you right now.
Yeah. Luckily, not too many people have come in wanting to yell at me, but I am really looking forward to that day. And I will buy them a drink and sit there and listen. I think people in general are just offended by other people's opinions, no matter if they're truth or they're not. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be honest with you. When somebody has a problem with me, they go to Scott Hall. They don't even come to me anymore.
That's really
Actually,
interesting.
they never came to me. I wish they did. I think one person did once, and I was like, okay. But they go to Scott, and they say, Ceris is so inappropriate. Ceris says fuck a lot. Ceris did this. Ceris should. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, and I think, like a bartender, he has to be the one that's more agreeable with every single one in that content thread, because that's his page, versus you're kind of like the consultant on that show to come in and say, this is what's actually like in the club. I mean, you want to ask me questions about what it's like to have a band come in, they don't bring anybody, or have a band come in and their set list is different than what's listed on when I told them I'd pay for this, and they come in and it's not that. Like, there's all different disgruntlements about how quality meets the actual in-person experience.
Yeah.
And you're the one that has to rectify the value of that. It's a very odd thing.
It's a very odd thing, yeah. It can make it awkward, definitely.
Yeah. So when did you come to a place where you thought that you want to move from bartending into managing bartenders, which seems like the worst aspect? Not that your bartenders seem awesome. They seem like decent
people. They
people.
really are.
But even with having a kitchen that you manage, everyone that's in the industry finds himself in a substance issue, in a relational issue, with a car issue.
Right.
It's a tough life to live. So when you bring these people to work for you every day, you have to kind of be a part of their family in that.
Well, first things first, we are a family. And I'll say it's the quality of people you choose to work with, or you spend your time with. I treat the people that I've hired, I would say 95% of the people I've hired are people that I would like to go for coffee with. I don't drink coffee, but a bottle of water though. I'd spend some fucking time.
Why don't you
with
drink
her, so
coffee?
I don't like the taste.
I mean, that's like, you got to decide that after 2 gallons of consumption. You know what I'm saying?
I took one sip. I was like, this is fucking nasty.
What do you do about the need for caffeine? No caffeine?
I don't.
Really? Good for you.
I don't. I mean,
Do you get the jitters from it?
I do now. So I used to be competitive power lifter, and I used to do. I would never be able to do like pre-workouts because I would just be like jacked up on something, but I would do energy drinks, and then I stopped doing them for about 6 months, and I did one, and my heart felt like it was like gonna pop out of my chest.
Interesting.
So I just stopped it. I mean, I'm not saying that I never used to partake in certain things, but even that, like, it's just my body just doesn't accept it anymore. Like, I mean, not that I don't do that anymore, but
Yeah.
like anything with caffeine, my body just doesn't accept. It's like, nah, the only thing that accepts is Excedrin with caffeine. And that's how I know that I'm old, because that's the most caffeine I get now. It's just my Excedrin.
My wife will take an Excedrin and shake like a fucking leaf. I'm like, honey,
like
that is some crazy shit.
Yeah.
I am in a sober stint, stepping away from all my usuals, and I've been drinking so much more coffee. And
I think that's the trade-off, isn't it?
Well, it makes you realize how much any substance can have a grip on your life,
yeah.
and just admitting that, like, I tend to go with the low-hanging fruit in terms of my general feelings, and it's like, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Why don't you get enough sleep, get a workout in, and see how you're going?
That's my energy, is the workout and the sleep. That's my energy.
And do you still lift?
I lift, but not nearly as much. Now I work out at home. Now I just do things that I can't lift. My body's so broken, but I still like do little things at home. I have a treadmill and a little gym in my house and everything.
And when you say your body's so broken, like just mobility issues from those years of powerlifting?
Mobility issues from the powerlifting, doing things from bad form, not that sort of stuff has really busted my body.
There's something really odd about putting your body to use in things that aren't long-term constructive. And I think that's 99% of sporting activities besides like maybe swimming. But like if you're a marathon runner, your knees are going to go. If you're a power lifter, those muscles are eventually going to degrade, and then you find out your spine can barely, do a goddamn thing.
Yeah, mine are my knees and my back. But I do find the lazier I am, the more pain I'm in. So I've had to maintain a pain-free existence. And I still wake up in pain a little bit, but I have to do some sort of exercise. I have to do some sort of working out. I have to do, something. I constantly, every day I get at least 10,000 steps. I have 6 dogs, so, walking dogs is a big thing. Plus, I'm not good at sitting unless I'm done with my day. But I have to do some sort of exercise, or my body's like, you're a bitch. So.
Yeah. Well, and folks always assume that rest is the cure for a lot of their ailments, and maybe that's true in some cases, but it seems like for the most part,
too much rest isn't good.
Yeah, it seems like the utilization of what you want to do is kind of what you need to be doing. If you want to be able to walk more, you need to walk more.
You need to walk.
I got into yoga during the pandemic, and I never realized how little I understood stretching in general, because it was a grunting thing. It was this I was inducing tightness in the way that I was stretching before, and just making an hour's worth of time for it to say, like, if this is as far as you're going, this is as far as you're going. Like they always say, you want to be at a 5 out of 10 in terms of sensation when you're stretching, because this is supposed to be a sign to the muscles that you can go further.
Right.
Versus if you go 9 out of 10, you're going to tear some shit.
You're going to hurt yourself.
You're going to look dumb after this.
I tried to get into yoga, and I fell asleep every single time.
It definitely depends on the class. If you do hot yoga, it is super comfy.
Oh my God. I just fell asleep. I was like, and I snored. And
While
I'm not
sleeping in
even
the
a
class.
snorer. But all of a sudden, somebody was like, ma'am, you're snoring. I was like, oh, I should be embarrassed about that. So
Do you have sleep apnea or something?
Not at all. I sleep like a baby. I sleep great.
That's hilarious, though, that you're just in the back of this class.
I don't snore at home. I just snored in yoga. I don't know what it was.
That's deep. That definitely hurt them emotionally. You'd like to think that yoga teachers are like emotionally there for themselves.
I would imagine that hurt.
Yeah, I'd imagine that really bummed them out for a while.
But I said, you were so relaxing and soothing that my body said, just take a nap.
How'd you get into powerlifting?
Well, I used to do like Tough Mudders and stuff like that. And I mean, listen, my body, I'm 5'9", and well, I'm thicker now, but I used to be like a rail. And I was like, what is the one sport that my body shouldn't ever do? And I'm going to make sure that I do it. And that's why I chose powerlifting. Yeah. I've
It,
got like the longest legs, and I'm like, was this like skinny, skinny girl. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go squat 400 pounds and think I'm going to be okay.
is circumstantial defiance a big part of your personality? Mm-hmm. Cool. Did someone tell you not to travel the world and bartend?
Every single thing that I've ever done was be like, can I or can I not kill myself? Well, let's find out. Let's just do it.
Did someone tell you couldn't run a bar? Is that what led you to this place?
Oh, no, I told myself when I started bartending, because I loved bartending, and I knew that, listen, bartending is amazing, but it's also a trap. So if you're going to bartend, you have to know the money is fabulous, and especially, like, I guess it still is now. I don't bartend anymore because during COVID, I had to give up my shifts I wanted to make sure that my staff had shifts. So I haven't every once in a while I bartend, but it's probably not a pretty thing.
Yeah, when it gets wild in there, it's like we just need one more set of hands.
I'll bar back. Mm-hmm. That way I don't have to interact with the customers because I can't hear anymore. So I'm always like, what? What? And there's all these new shots that are like a Dickie-Doo shot. I was like, what the fuck is in these shots? I don't know any of these shots anymore. But I said to myself, if I'm going to be bartending by the age of 40, it better be my own bar. So that's why I was 38 when I bought the bar. So that's why
awesome.
I did that.
And what was it before?
It was called McLeavy's. It was a bar.
Cool.
It was a bar. And I bartended there for 8 years before I bought it.
No shit.
Yeah.
So why would you ever land in that part of Montgomery? Because it's such a weird location.
Okay, so I was bartending at like the Pavilion in Mount Adams.
Nice.
And the Stand and like the 4EG, great company. Bob Deck is incredible.
I work for some 4EG bars as well. They've been very good to me. I played Low Spark over in OTR.
Yeah.
Cutest little 40-seat club, and I was like,
great place.
Is this a new place? So like, this has been here for 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
But when it came out, I felt like that was one of my more favorite 4EG places. It was just small and cool. You can always tell a 4EG bar when you walk in. But they're good people. They're really good people.
Yeah. It's a very professional atmosphere for bars. And to work for a company like that does provide more stability than people give it credit for, especially for folks like me where it's like, if I'm going to give you 2 weeks of my month, I want to trust that you're going to be here at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Or else I just lost 6 weeks of work. You know?
Yeah, it's true. No, they're a great company. I'm a big fan. But I was working there, and I was going through a divorce, my first husband. And I and I was living in Mount Adams, and I needed another gig. And a friend of mine who worked at Pavilion was like, "Come and apply at McLeavy's. It's in the suburbs, but you make really good money, and it's like this hole in the wall." And I was like, "Okay." So that's how I started working there, and it was funny because I got in this horrible car accident the day I was moving out. I was supposed to move out of the house, the apartment that I had with my husband at the time, and my car was totaled.
Was it full of your shit?
No.
Okay, cool.
But I was on my way to McLeavy's, which was previously the Belle and the Bear. It was my first shift, and I got in a horrible car accident where my car flipped 3 times. And as soon as it flipped over, I remember somebody came running up, a bunch of people came running up to make sure I was okay. And I remember saying, the first thing I said was, call McLeavy's and tell them that I'm not going to make it for my shift. I was in a horrible car accident. But so my car was gone. I was living in Mount Adams. I had to walk. I literally I only worked on Mondays there, and I would rent a car on Mondays because I had no money. I was going through this divorce, and I would rent a car on Mondays to drive to Montgomery from Mount Adams, and that's when I would do all my grocery shopping as well, and then bring the car back to Enterprise on Tuesday mornings.
Oh my gosh.
That's what I did for like a year and a half, 2 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
People talk about how you're defined by your lowest moments and how you interact with that. It's like, that's got to be a serious chapter of what am I willing to do to get to where I want to go.
Oh. You know what's funny is I don't think I have ever thought of any moment in my life as one of the lowest moments. I think of every experience, everything that I have as just another experience. Mm-hmm. And it's every single experience that got me to where I am today. I did not have a good childhood by any means. Not very family oriented, not very good at all. But I still loved it, because if it wasn't for all of the shit that happened to me, I wouldn't be who I am today. And it's because of the shit that happened to me that I said, all right, well, I have a choice. I can either be a fucking asshole for the rest of my life and make poor decisions, or I can get my ass in therapy and try to be the best version of myself that I can be,
Yeah.
or just work on myself constantly. And so I was like, there isn't such thing to me. There isn't no such thing as like these low moments. They're just different experiences. And there's nothing wrong with having low moments. I've just never really thought of anything like that in my life. I've just never thought that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think every single experience I've ever had, whether it was a good or a bad one, I'm so glad that I had them all, because it's brought me to where I am today.
And it takes a special kind of mindset to be open to whatever comes next. And as my mother kept telling me, I had a really weird 2 months where I do feel like I had kind of this lowest moment. So it's also interesting when people say things to you, not in a way of like them trying to tell you something, but it's like the universe needed to speak that to you through somebody else.
I call them aha moments. I got those. Yeah.
And it's so odd the way that they appear.
Yeah.
But if you're not open to receiving them as that,
Yep.
then you're pissing all over the opportunity. Like,
Yep.
yeah, I grew up Catholic. My current spiritual life has shifted from what that is. But when you don't have a lens to look at the whole picture of this, it's kind of hard to accept these moments of reckoning, whether it's someone speaking truth or something being shown to you that you need to see as a divine interception to your life to go this way. And as I was going to say, my mom always points to, you need to do the next right thing, regardless if things are going great or things are going shitty. Whatever is the next right thing is how you have to steer. And it's kind of hard to see that clearly when you're bogged down by, oh, this is the worst day of my life, or that's the worst thing that's ever happened to me, or I'm getting shat on by life right now.
Right.
It makes it so much harder to emotionally disassociate and choose the next right thing.
Are you an emotionally driven person?
Super. I'm a Gemini.
I'm a Gemini too, but I am not an emotionally driven person.
Really?
Yeah.
And when you say emotionally driven, like emotionally susceptible, like making decisions based on feelings and that?
Correct.
Yeah, I definitely say I'm in that category.
I'm not. So I can separate emotion from pretty much everything. So, and I find it so interesting when people, my husband, my now husband is an emotionally driven person. Like his feelings are based on his emotion, and I think it's a beautiful thing. He is an emotional person. I am not an emotional person. It makes for very interesting conversations and stuff like that. But I think it's I think it's a beautiful thing when people react based on their emotions, but it's also can be a very detrimental thing at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find out what that fine line is.
It is. I'm too harsh. So I'm too unattached from emotion at times. 100% can admit that and guilty. So what Jim, my husband, has taught me is how to be more emotional. And like, it's okay to have some emotion when you're having a disagreement with your loved one, or when you're, it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a fine line. There's a medium there.
When you and Jim have been married now for like 2 years-ish?
Is it?
I don't know. I just saw it on Facebook at some point, so I look at that and I'm like...
Probably, September is when we got married. Funny story, we're not actually technically married.
Nice.
So, like, we got married, great wedding. We climbed the mountain. I was in my wedding dress, and I hiked for like 5, 6, or whatever it was. But we got home, and we're not really good with stuff at times. And one of our dogs ate our marriage license, and you have 3 months to send it in to get it, and we just missed that. So we're not actually technically married. We never did it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So we do have to get that done. But I mean,
Do you think like 5% of couples are in that situation where they forget to send in the marriage license? Like they do the whole shebang?
yeah, but they just don't.
Yeah, this is not paperwork people.
It's just for not paperwork people.
It's heroic. I mean, that if there's a definition of true love, I think it's that. Like people who find there's like a Venn diagram of what you are and what I am and where we meet in the middle, maybe our best and worst attributes. And it's like, and that's all we got together. We're not paperwork people.
No.
You're the emotional one.
Yeah.
I'm hard as rock, but let's talk about this.
Both
strong shots, you know?
We are. We've known each other like 20, 21 years, but we hated each other for the first 15 years of our lives. We could not stand each other.
And how'd you meet?
Through my ex-husband. I was living in Australia, and I was working at a bar called the Swan, and this group of Americans came in, and I was like, and they ordered Killian's, and I was like, oh, you guys are Americans. And they're like, yeah, how did you guess? And it was Justin was living in Australia. He's American, and his friends who were on break from being deported, military guys, they were in Australia visiting him. And his friends were Jim and Sean. And Jim was, I think, he was about to have a baby with Lisa. I didn't know who this person was, obviously, at the point. But they left, and Justin and I ended up falling in love and ended up getting married. And we lived in Jim and Lisa's house for a couple of months when we moved back to the States. And Jim would be deported all the time, and we just hated each other.
That's bizarre, though, know someone for so long and then decide you feel differently about them.
Well, so how it came about is, I guess, I hadn't spoken to him. Like, Justin and I got divorced. I guess him and Lisa got divorced. And I don't think I saw him for like 10 years. And he was no longer getting deployed. He got like blown up too much. So he wasn't, he couldn't get deployed too much anymore. And he was on Facebook, and he saw that I had just opened this bar like maybe a year ago. And he reached out to me on Facebook because he's one of those, he's like the most gentle, kind soul you'll ever meet. Like very gentle, very soft spoken, just very like, oh, I just want to squeeze you, type of guy. And he was like, I just wanted to reach out to say I'm very proud of you and congratulations for all, I know you've always wanted to open this business. And he's like, I'd love to see it. And I remember me, the bitch that I was. I mean, really nice. I was like, oh, hey, Jim, great to hear from you. I was like, you're welcome to stop by. And he's like, great, I'll stop by. Usually people say, I'll stop by, I'll see you, I'll contact you. But he's one of those people that are like, sure, I'll stop by, I'll see you in an hour. And he'll like actually show up. So that's what he did. And I remember saying to my bartender at the time, going, oh, I hope this guy doesn't hit on me. This is like my... This was my
nightmare.
ex-husband's best friend. Like, he better not hit on me. So funny. He comes in. We're both very different people than we were when, 20 years prior to that. And we ended up just hanging out and going for dinner, like, the next day just as friends. And it was almost immediate where we both were like, fuck. This is something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's got to be bizarre. So he's coming back into your life at this point in time where you had just opened the Belle the Bear?
About a year, yeah.
So take me back to that. So you work at McLeavy's for 8 years.
Correct.
Are you just super tight with the owner and they kind of give you this opportunity when they're on the way out?
No, not at all. The complex is owned by a family, and the bar was owned by this family as well. And I made an offer.
Strong. That's kind of wild. How many times in bar ownership do you think a bartender gets to the point where they're like, I think I can do this better than you? Keys. I'm going to say this as politely as possible. The bar was not, anybody could have done better than what the bar was doing at this point. It wasn't really used the way that it should have been used. Yeah.
So.
Well, the location is still, it's so odd.
It is odd.
And the fact that Go Bananas is right there, the fact that we have like almost like an entertainment district that's like, I don't want to say fledgling, like you two are the staples. And I'd say you very much overpower what Go Bananas can unfortunately do. And I hope in time that club starts to get the real love that deserves because they're bringing in great acts and whatnot. But
they're actually doing way better now. They are.
Would you
yeah.
attribute that to the traffic that you brought in there in
You know,
some
it's
ways?
so funny that you say that because McLeavy's and in the early stages of the Belle and the Bear survived because of Go Bananas. So, and my goal, and this is no disrespect to Go Bananas, it was just a personal goal for a business goal, was that for the Belle and the Bear, was that my goal was to make sure I could succeed without the help of Go Bananas. And I've done that now.
More
So,
than done that.
More than done that, yeah.
You know,
so.
the restaurants in that I don't even know what to call the complex,
Yeah.
that part of the neighborhood are probably seeing a pretty significant uptick because of the folks that are coming into the bar.
I hope so.
And you do that very humbly. It's not like you're trying to brag for their benefit. But what you've curated there is very different than anything else that would have popped up there that would have been a neighborhood bar.
Right.
It's an event space. You know, it's a place where you can go see a show. Like, is it Lita Ford that you had, or
Yeah.
that's fucked? You
I know.
like how these things occur in this weird backyard
In
of
this
Montgomery.
tiny little, yeah.
Yeah. Also, I gotta say, the sound system you put in, bitchin'.
Isn't it good?
Yes.
Yeah, it got to a point where I was like, dude, I am more than I thought I was gonna be. This is amazing. The bar is more than I thought it was gonna be. It is now a music venue. I need a sound. I need the correct sound. I gotta tell you, when I opened the Belle and the Bear, I had live music once a week. I
It
didn't
wasn't
think
the thing.
it wasn't the thing. I've always wanted a live music venue, but I thought it was going to take me a lot longer to get there because the McLeavy's had the worst reputation, and it's harder to change a reputation than it is to start over. So I know this is also going to sound odd, but as awful as COVID was, it is what helped bring the Belle and the Bear alive
Yeah.
as the music venue.
And it does sound odd, but it is the proper way to look at that kind of situation. It was a reset button. And
Yeah,
for most people, it was a
was.
really poorly timed reset button. But if you took that downtime to say, all right, new walls, new image, new name, whatever the fuck we're doing,
Yeah, it
we
was-
got to make this something positive.
I remember because it was a year and a half after I opened the bar, so I was still had all my original loans, and when they shut us down, I had 76 cents left in my account because my accountant has just taken all the money out to pay all the bills, and I was like, oh no, I don't fail, so I need to think of something to how am I gonna get this business to survive. I have some great people in my life, and they bailed me out for the time that we were closed. And I said, what am I going to do to go from 76 cents to, okay, I'm going to make this bar be something more than it is. And I fought with the city personally to make sure we could have live music when we reopened. And it was because of that where I said, all right, I got to go bigger. I got to go home. And I said, I went from live music once a week to live music starting at 7 p.m. and ending at 10 p.m. I think you played. Didn't you play?
Yeah, I think we played pretty quickly after. I think I played April of 2021.
I think so. And I had the signs of no dancing on there and everything. And I think you guys played and we killed it because we were one of the only places that had live music. And I just did it three, 4 times a week.
And I think your weekends, like many folks, you try to bring in a band on a weekend and hope that they have some kind of audience they're going to bring in there.
It's important, yeah.
But when you curate a patronage that's willing to say, I'm willing to go see a show that I'm not sure about on a Friday or Saturday, that's what everyone else is missing right now. That's a scary proposition that I'm going to risk my Friday night on something I may not enjoy.
Right.
So for them to like the bartenders enough, room enough, the other people that go there
Yeah.
enough, now you've kind of curated something that can be, it can be big in local bands that are trying to break. It can be big for touring acts.
Yeah.
It can be enough for nationals that want to play smaller rooms.
Yeah.
And what a crazy test by fire to put all those different things in there
Right.
and try to see how the business model stands up in that kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Thursdays have been a part of that, or have Thursdays been the outcome of that?
No, I think Thursday started that. I think we, who was it? It was Marianne and Kathy came, well, because of the venue. I guess there was a bar called The Venue. I didn't know about it, but a really popular music venue that Lori, who now bartends at the Belle, she ran. Ran that, and they had this jam session, and it was with Dave and I think Jim. They started it, and it was more of like an acoustic thing. And they said, you should start that at the Belle. And I said, that's a great idea, but I want like a full band. I always want a full band. I like full bands. But, and it was during COVID, and it was the only place that people could come out and play and listen, music is not just art, it's therapy for a lot of people. And they took that away from people, and people got really sad and people got really depressed. Whether it's the people playing the music or it's the people enjoying the music, for a lot of people, they need the music.
Yeah.
And it kind of just blew up, and it really put the Belle and the Bear on the map, I feel like.
It's a disturbing thing to walk in there on a Thursday night, and you have some of the best players of the top 50 bands in the city, all begging to step up and play a song with a different band than they've ever played with before.
It's kind of cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
But there's a weird pressure to it where people want to play their best. People, if you're going to step up there, you don't want to look like the idiot. You know,
Right.
the one time in the last 8 months that I've gotten to come down, you and I had some rapport, and I kind of knew Kathy, but Chris Reese is there on my behalf being like, put them on.
Yeah.
Let's see it. That's a moment where you're like, I don't know these people, so how am I going to lead a band that feels polite, like I know what I'm doing, and also entertains an audience when I don't know where this bus is going?
Right.
So there's a really great pressure and fulfillment to it that's very different than any other gig you're going to step up in.
Right.
But also the networking that goes on in there.
Huge networking.
Yeah, how many of these bands are swapping band members and whatnot and finding subs and doing this kind of thing? And the way that influences a scene, it's crucial to have those kind of moments. I always tell folks, if you go to a New York or an LA or Nashville right now and your bass player quits, you can have someone tomorrow that can fill that spot.
Yeah.
They're going to learn the songs.
Yeah.
If you don't have opportunities like that, you don't flex that muscle of stepping in and making it happen. So when people drop out, the band squanders every opportunity they have.
Right.
It fucks everything up for
Yeah.
good. And it's tough to start to rebuild when you don't have the personnel in your immediate community to start to build that kind of thing up.
Yep.
So when you go in, you meet all these players. I'm sure there's been some super groups that have formed out of that.
Incredible groups, yeah.
I'm sure there's some bands that have broken up because of that, because people are moving on to better things, hopefully, too. And even that, as much as it can be upsetting for some folks, fire's going to forge something a little bit tougher than
Right.
whatever that was. And our scene is very fickle. It is a cover band city at this current point in time. And I hope in some ways that changes, but I'm also very biased towards that.
Yeah, I love cover music. I got to tell you. I mean, I love all music. I love obviously I love original music. But I don't think people give cover bands enough credit, because listen, it's hard as hell to write your own music. I'm a writer, and I know it's hard as hell to write your own music, and even harder to sing it. There's a lot of pressure on that. But I think, especially for bars, especially in the suburbs, I find the reason why we do cover bands is because that's what brings people in. It just is. It's hard. I've tried to do, I am now trying slowly to bring in original music bands, because I really want to be able to cater to that. But you have to know that these cover bands are putting on great shows for rooms full of people that are having the best times of their lives.
Totally.
And that's a really beautiful thing.
And if the competition was there from original bands, it wouldn't be a question of one's better than the other. It's like, if their show rocks, their show rocks.
Their show rocks. And some people just want to be able to sing along with the song.
Totally.
Well,
there's a big part of getting involved in the music to make it the full satisfactory experience. Sometimes that's singing along. In a lot of ways, dancing crowds have gone away because people are afraid of being filmed on somebody's phone and looking like an
Right.
idiot dancing.
Except for at the Belle. There's lots of dancing at the Belle.
There's lots of dancing at the Belle that I might film. I
Yeah.
mean, like, people come out and shake their ass, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
But I love that for people, because I'm
Yeah.
also one of those people. If I'm
Yeah.
not playing, it's like, no, I'm going to make a fool of myself and have a good time doing this,
Yeah.
because I don't give a shit what you're thinking at the end of the day. My joy is going to come from getting involved in this music. And I think a lot of people are viewers of that kind of thing, and they slowly get coaxed into participating because they do hear the lyrics that they know, and they
Right.
can kind of make that step.
Right.
And I think there's all types of those acts that step up on Thursday nights. And do you hear a lot of originals? No, because this is an opportunity for people to play music that's in the pop culture kind of spectrum that we
Right.
can call off the top of the head.
Thursdays are definitely for covers, and we make sure of that. But we have other nights, or trying to, like I said, people have always asked, can you do an original? I was like, I absolutely can. We need to figure out a way how to bring people in and make money.
Yeah.
Because if I can't make money, I can't pay you.
Yeah. And that's a great moment of honesty. And you
Yeah.
also do a good thing of you've gotten your patronage used to coming in and paying cover that's going to pay for part of the band.
Yes.
Because if they don't, this can't come out of the bar profits.
So this is the first year that I'm charging cover for pretty much 90% of the bands, because I've never been a fan of cover, because I do believe bars should provide the entertainment. However, a negative part of COVID is that it costs, I don't think people realize this, at least a minimum of 6 or 7 times more to run a bar than it did prior to COVID. And I think I spent about $150,000 on bands last year, and I just can't afford that. Like, I was in the negative. It doesn't matter how busy you are, everything is going up. And so I make sure that any money that comes in for the cover of of the band, if let's just say somebody makes, I'm just using this number, $500, that's what I told them that they would get paid. Well, if the door brings in 400, I'm still going to give you your 500. But if the door brings in 700, you're going to get the 700. I'm not trying to make a profit off the door, but I am trying to make sure I get your shows covered, so that way I can keep doing this.
Totally. And it also makes it easier to run a business when you can tell what profit is what. The bar
Right.
sales are a pretty easy thing to look at till you start talking out what you guarantee the
Right.
band.
Right.
And to give a band a guarantee is a very kind thing. It's like in Cincinnati, which is my home market that I've been
Right.
gigging in for 13 years of my life. And I'm still a young guy, but I've been working in this city long enough to know what I can do in terms of bringing people.
Right.
And I also know what my leverage is based on the other gigs I play. When I leave this market, I am begging for someone to see something in me and help me get people through that door.
Right.
And if they give you a guarantee so you can pay for a hotel, thank God.
Right.
But it's not as cut and dry of a deal to people. And you need to know when you're taking a risk versus providing something that's guaranteed.
Right.
And butts and seats are almost never guaranteed.
Ever.
So getting people used to a cover and also getting them used to taking a risk on something they haven't seen before
Right.
has to come with a very very interesting, a proposition of value. You know, whether that's you got good videos online and people can see this. Like, when I come into the Bell and I'm playing a gig, there's always someone new that says, hey, I looked you up on YouTube, I liked it, and I'm here right now.
Thank goodness, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like it's worth it to put those videos
Absolutely.
up. But folks that don't do that back work, that don't make their own
They
investment
don't want
in
to
that,
spend $5 at the door.
yeah, you're going to be drowning in it.
Right.
And you're not going to get guarantees, and you're not going to get
Right.
brought back into these clubs that can help you make fans.
Yep. I think that is the power of social media,
Yeah,
and that is why we need it.
absolutely.
And that is also why I have I'm a very generous person. Like, listen, there's only so many people that can come into the Bell, so the cover we never make over a certain amount at the door, because there's only just so many. So when some bands charge a certain amount, I know that I'm going to end up having to pay like an extra $500 just to make sure they get in there. But I know that the people that are coming, but I also know those people have a following, so it makes it all worth it in the end, because the bar sales are going to be good. I kind of forgot what we were talking about, though.
Well, it's interesting you say that, though, because then people have a hard time of experiencing something great and wanting more of it in a
Right.
time frame that's not feasible. Folks that want to play monthly, not quarterly, not annually.
Right.
And then you squander a good thing because there's not many other clubs there doing what you're doing, especially in that part of town, which for a lot of people can be relatively local. I'm not driving an hour to go play this place.
You're not. No, that would take forever. No.
Yeah. No, but when you have something that's worth it like that, people do.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to go to Boston in April for some reason because of the people that are good to me in the city of Boston. That's kind of where my best fan base is.
Oh,
Can I get there
nice.
more than twice a year? No.
No.
Does it make it better that I only go there twice a year? Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Because
yeah.
then I know that I'm going to come with handfuls of merch. I'm going to give out a lot of hugs. I get to see these people that are going to make it feel like a real moment in time for me to arrive there. And that's far more fulfilling than going after this good thing every night of the week.
Right.
You need to find ways of reinventing that in different markets. But when the club scene is what it is, especially post-COVID, it's hard to find more places like the Belle.
It is. It's fun. Isn't it funny to think that many, many years ago you would have a house band and they would play every single Friday and Saturday, the same band.
I don't know anything about that world of it, and it's hard to imagine.
Isn't
but like,
it hard to imagine?
Yeah, like whether it's a Holiday Inn, like discotheque kind of vibe, or like one of the Ruby's joints, which like they're super good to me with playing those spots. But they did a lot of weekly for a long time.
Yeah,
because
no,
people are only going out there once a year.
this is like bars. Bars used to do that. They used to have like the same house band playing every Friday and every Saturday. You know, there's still a bar. I love it. It's like the music bar on the west side, the Naughty Pine. There's certain bands, like some of my favorite rock bands, Blackbone Cat or Flatline, they'll play one weekend, just the whole weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And it works for them. And I think that's so cool.
Well, it's definitely efficient for everybody involved if you can do that,
Yeah.
and you have the catalog to go across.
Yeah, I just don't think it would work at the Bell. Like I can't even imagine. I love having the variety.
Yeah, I think it depends what the sell is.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a Prince tribute band and you're gonna do 2 nights,
Yeah.
there's only so much of the catalog that I really want to hear you do.
Yeah.
As much as I love Prince, it's like there's only so much we can cover there. But if you're Lita Ford, you know, and you're gonna come in, it's like, well, I guess it's more reasonable for us to ask you
Right.
to do 2 nights if that sells out. Has doing shows like that made you want to look at more nationals and give the offer just to see?
No.
Because it's so logistically heavy, or
I love doing the national acts are very interesting to do. It's a lot more work, and that's okay because I'm not shy of work. I love working. Sometimes it's a little difficult with the people to work with them. Not so much the bands, but everything else. But and it's
writers and green
expensive.
rooms.
Yeah,
and,
it's expensive, and it's every time there's been a few national acts that I've done, and they've all been great. But there's been a couple of times where I've gone, man, some of this local band or this local band, I would have liked to see them play. Like, you know what I mean? I've just realized like I said, I will never stop doing national acts. I might do 1 or 2 a year because it's just fun and it's exciting to bring those people. It's a nice thing to be able to say that I can't believe I got, like when Kip Winger came, that was really fucking cool.
Yeah.
I love Kip Winger, and Vixen because Brittany's a friend of mine, so it was just nice to have her band there. And they're great. They're a ton of, man, the lead singer, they're just very talented. But there's a lot of times it made me realize how talented a lot of our local musicians are. And that's when I was like, okay, I got to figure out a way to get some original bands in here. I've got to do it every once in a while, and I got to sneak it in.
yeah,
Because if these national acts were once an original band, so let's try to figure it out. How can we do that? How can we create some more national acts?
yeah. And there's something to be said too that some of these bands they reach their peak and they're willing to stick around for us. Whereas most folks hang it up after a certain amount of time.
Right.
And I don't really want that for a lot of my heroes. Like, I don't think everyone stays at Prince's arena level.
Right.
But I think there's a lot of folks in like Kip Winger's category where it's like, this is a star amongst stars
Yeah.
that younger generations may not know. But the fact that he's still touring on it means that we need to provide spaces for this to be successful.
Yeah.
You don't want a half full Bogarts. You want a pack to the 9 Bell.
Yeah.
So finding spaces that are willing to do that, folks are willing to go the extra mile, even if it's not as simple and profitable as doing one of the local bands, it's an important aspect of the songwriter's career to
Yeah.
allow them to live that out,
I think it just benefits all. It's fun. I can say, oh, Lita Ford played my place. That's pretty cool. And to the people that knew her or know her, they're like, that's badass,
It is super badass.
Yeah.
With the amount of listening that you do in your work environment, do you turn the radio on or listen to music in the car, or you just roll silent?
I do both.
Okay.
I do both. And you know what? The only radio station I turn on is 92.5.
Which is...
Classic rock,
Okay.
Fox.
Okay.
They play the same songs every time, and I don't even give a fuck. I'm just like, oh, the Eagles again.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. You know.
There's something really weird about. I'm just in that generation that Spotify came about right when I really had my independence in music. But I grew up listening to the radio or my CDs, and the zeitgeist of a song's popularity was fed to you by a mutual tuning into the station, and we all got it at the same time.
Yeah.
Versus now, Spotify and other streaming platforms have segmentalized your listening in such a way that there's no shared experience in that kind of format.
Yeah, I don't use Spotify.
Not at all?
I don't. I use it. I follow my like bands that I know that have music on there, so that way, because I know it helps.
Yeah.
But I don't tend to use it. I have the bands that I really, really like that I'm in the mood. Maybe I'll use Pandora every once in a while.
Yeah.
But you know what? Maybe that's making me think that I do choose silence sometimes over music when I'm at home.
You have to have some mental fortitude to choose the silence. There's a lot of weird thoughts that you have that one thing I love from yoga is trying to disassociate yourself from your thoughts. You're not your thoughts. It's just the spin.
Oh yeah. I'm not afraid of my thoughts. I
kind of am.
Are you?
There's some dumb shit that floats in there where you're like,
Yeah, but dumb shit is fun shit. I can literally go sometimes and be like, you're an idiot. That was funny. Why would you think that? And I'd be like, oh, I should probably not say that shit out loud.
Yeah.
Know?
That's a good side of the podcast where I can take all this dumb shit right here and dump it on the internet and then pay the piper, you know?
Yeah.
What kind of writing do you do?
Well, I used to do a whole lot of poetry. And I guess I still do it. I just write it, and I just keep writing, and if it makes me feel, if I'm like, oh, that sounds fucking cool, I'm just going to keep writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever it is. It's just words that mean something to me, and I put them together, and they create, whether it's a story or a small poem or whatever.
And are you handwriting in most of these points?
I'm not good at technology. I'm not like...
So all that water supply you drank while traveling the world has affected your hands, you know?
Like my booking, for booking, I have a book. I write it in my book on my calendar for all of my band bookings.
It's a little more definite in that way.
Yeah, I like pen and paper.
Yeah.
And I like the feel of the art. Like, right, people they don't know what they're missing. They do this too much. Do this. Just learn to write. It's pretty.
Well, I think when you type, you can keep up with the pace of your thoughts if you can type well. But sometimes the pace of your thoughts should not be the pace of your output.
Maybe you should slow down, though.
Yeah.
I think everybody needs to take a second and just slow down. Think about what you're thinking about. You know, just slow down. Write it down. Just relax. Take a breather.
Yeah. Well, when I'm writing songs,
it just comes out.
If I don't catch it when it's coming out, she's gone.
Yeah.
And that's a really frustrating feeling about the muse slipping through, and you miss the essence of something that the thoughts aren't really yours to have. They're just coming through. You're just a little antenna catching that thing. So keeping up with the pace on it, on a phone or on a computer, feels good at times, but then you have a lot more backspacing. And there's a lot of Command A, backspace, delete all that shit, gone.
I mean, I would be lying if I said every time, like, I use my notes, and I do a lot of this when something comes up and I want to get it down. When I think of something funny, or if I think of something, I definitely use my notes to do that. But I'm wondering if I do that, that's just because I don't ever have a pen and paper in front of me.
And do you review the pen and paper a lot? Do you go back to these things? Or is it just therapy to do it when I do it and I'm done?
Probably both. Probably a little bit of both. Sometimes I forget that I wrote it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I need something funny for today. And I was like, oh, I wrote that funny shit. And
is that what goes on the board outside the Belle?
Some of it is my mind. Some of it is just like online.
Yeah, good memes.
A lot of it is good memes, yeah.
You gotta love when you're walking and there's just a dirty joke waiting for you at the door.
It's my favorite thing to like sit there and just watch if people are like smiling. I love making people laugh. Like I don't think there's okay. Animals, dogs, my life, saving animals is my favorite thing. Throwing charity events and raising money for animals and people in need is my favorite thing, and making people laugh is my favorite thing. And I gotta tell you, I get such a kick of just, you see people that are walking up and they've got this like scowl on their face, or like they're frowning, and then all of a sudden they go. I was like, yay, I did that.
It's a little got you, bitch.
I got you.
And I feel like you being the one behind that board does make a big difference to people too.
Thanks. Well, everybody always asks, who does that? I was like, well, it's either the internets or it's me. Yeah.
It'd be interesting if there was a series of cocktail napkins that had your poetry on it.
I thought about doing that, or like doing what's the word I'm looking for? English
Book?
Dumb. No, not a book. Like like just a certain amount of T-shirts with like a saying on the back of it. So like just be like, oh, now you can get this board from this year. If you want the T-shirts. And I thought about doing something like that.
Do you sell much bar merch?
I do, especially around the Christmas season. I do. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's a weird thing to, like, even for bands, it's weird to start making merch, but you gotta realize, like,
People are fans.
and people want to support you, so
Yeah.
you need to properly monetize their support in a way that is sustainable.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as the door charge, where it's like, I'm trying to be honest with you about what it takes to make sure this is here in 3 years when you want to keep doing this.
And that is literally what it's about. There's a lot of, and I don't care what the bar does with their money, but like by what a bar, but I don't like charging more than $5 unless it's a special event. But like I said, if their guarantee pay is $500 and they make $700 at the door, they're getting the $700. I'm not trying to make a profit. And I think you need to respect that in the sense of you are supporting the band. And by supporting the band, you are helping me stay open so you can support the band in 5 more years.
Yeah.
So please remember that. Now, there are bars that charge, $5 or $10, and if the band's guaranteed $500, they get $500. And I don't know what they do with the rest of the money, and that's none of my business. That doesn't matter to me. But
Totally. And they got to weigh in that value proposition. Like, you got to respect that people do different things with
They
their business
do.
deals, and if you don't put a contract in place or ask the questions, then you might get the short end of the stick. That's not because they're bad people. They're trying to do
No.
what's best for the business to stay open.
yeah, and they have different. There's every business is different. I love music. I love musicians. Being a musician in a band is a business, and people forget that. And being a bar owner is a business. It's not just a playground, and I think people forget that. And it costs a lot to do both. It costs a lot to be a band. It takes a lot of time, and it costs a lot to run a bar. So to me, I find it as a team, and there's no reason for me to I'm going to make my profit off of that band by the drinks that I sell off that band. That's why it's important for me that that band advertises as much as I advertise and actually gives a fuck about who comes into the bar. And I am going to make sure that I take care of the band the best that I can without jeopardizing my part, and they're going to make sure they take care of me without jeopardizing there. And by that is like, you charge $500, I can't charge $200 because then I'm not going to make any money. I respect that, man. This is your business. You know what? Here's your money, and you're going to respect that. Hopefully the people respect that this is what I have to pay the bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a team, and it has to be a team.
Yeah. Well, and also there's for good bands, there's sometimes entitlement issues when it comes, especially like tabs and things like that. Like, folks expect to eat and drink for free everywhere they go. It's like, some places I play, they give me that deal, and I appreciate the hell out of that deal.
We get 50% off.
Totally. You do a good job of that, but it's also like, if you want to come in here and drink yourself silly, you're not going to do it for free, and you're not going to do it at the expense of the show.
No.
So having you're pretty much letting them buy it at cost. Maybe a little less than cost at times, depending on what they go for. And that's a good thing. But if they just walk out without paying for, a damn drink, most of the time you get 2 shitty drunk bands.
Yeah, and also, why am I not getting the respect? I mean, I'm the one that's hiring you. Do you want me to keep hiring you? Pay your fucking tab, dude.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I'm running a business too. That's what I mean by mutual respect and teamwork.
Yeah.
Respect me, I'm going to respect you. Trust me.
And also, without paying for any drinks, you don't get the opportunity to tip that bartender, which regardless the deal that you got from the bar, you should still tip that person like it's been everything full price.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree.
that's not a cost to gratuity thing. It's what was their service worth to you, and show them that, because those people do so much in terms of keeping people coming back for you.
Yep.
You know, if someone asks who's going to be here on Friday night, are they going to say these motherfuckers or
this
these
great
motherfuckers?
band, yeah.
One of my favorites.
Yeah.
As time goes on, do you find yourself still going out to bars to see live music outside of the Bell, or when you're leaving the bar, you're done for the night?
Well, I don't go out often. I plan nights to go see certain bands. So I make sure, because I do like to support music venues and bands to go check out. But I really like to be at my bar because I think it's important for me to be there, and I want to make sure that the customers are having fun and everything's right. I'm kind of a control freak in the sense of, does this sound right? I want to make sure everything sounds and if I'm not there, I'm texting my certain regulars that know all about sound or something like that. So I do try to make sure I'm there a lot, but I do try to venture out every so often to support a band or a music venue.
Can I ask how much that system cost?
You sure can ask, yeah. It cost over $20,000.
Woo!
Yeah.
I'm sure it's frustrating. There's a technology curve to line a race like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not the guy to operate that system. I have bandmates that are far better engineers than I could ever be. But for putting in something that's so capable, such high quality, and such high cost, I'm sure it's very disappointing when someone comes in and just doesn't take the time to learn what it does great.
I just got this system. It got all fully installed. I mean, I just got my subs actually delivered in January.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I just got, I don't know, did you play with the new subs?
I think I played with the new subs. When did I play?
The shorter ones or tall ones?
The shorter ones.
Okay, yeah, so those are mine. Sweetwater lent us the other ones because it was taking too long. But
Sweetwater rocks.
yeah, they do rock, man.
Send you that candy.
I do, right?
Then they'll call you like, I hope you're enjoying your shit. You want to buy anything else? I'm like, leave me alone in the middle.
Leave me alone, but yeah, I'll be there in a minute. I already had to, one of my monitors, somebody just had to fucking blast the music and blew one of my new, I was like, come on, guys. I mean, just have respect for the system.
Yeah.
Because I'm saving you a whole lot of fucking time so you don't have to bring your own.
A whole lot of time, and also it's oriented for the room.
It is.
You know, all the risk of you messing this up is pretty much gone.
Yeah.
And those turbo sound wedges are really nice in the way
Yeah,
that they fit so sleekly to what you're doing. You just need to respect how much you're pushing it.
Yeah.
And like we're a headphones band. Like a lot of people complain that you're isolated, you don't get the experience of the crowd. Like my experience is not their experience. They're there to party. I'm there to do my job. So
Right.
at the cleanest, most precise level, I got this in my headphone. All the sound that I want coming in the room is coming right out the mains. It's just for them.
Yeah.
Versus when you push those wedges, one, the room sounds muddy.
Yeah.
Two, it adds some chaos on stage.
Yeah.
And three, you put the equipment at risk.
You do.
You know,
and you did. You like, yeah. And instead of, I don't understand people's, this whole, I'll just figure it out on my own. How about you not figure out my $20,000+ system on your own and just ask, how do we make this work?
yes.
Because do you want the best sounding night, or do you want your ego to sound better? I don't know what it is. You know?
And whoever you forwarded me to, who's like, I don't know if it's your house engineer, to someone that knows the system.
He's the one that helped. He's an incredible sound guy, Mark Bransford, and he's the one who put the whole system, picked the system for me. We went through all the options, like specifically for the room, and he installed it all and everything.
Seems like a very brilliant fellow. And when we discussed this, he's like, you can either go in the left, right, and you're gonna bypass the limiter. And it's like for folks that don't run sound, and even myself that sometimes does it, it's like that is a moment of intense trust to bypass the limiter.
Yeah.
Because now there's the opportunity of taking a $20,000 system and making it sound like a $10 piece of shit. And
that's what happened, I think, a week after you. And so now I've got some people coming in to set things up to make sure that there is no more bypassing of the limiter.
yeah. Well, it's an equipment risk.
It is.
And you need to know what that system's capable of. And that system's way more capable of bigger things than that room. So if you're exceeding where that should be at, holy shit, what are you trying to do here?
What are you trying to do? You just made this, and you made yourself sound like shit.
Yeah.
And you made everyone in there uncomfortable.
Yeah. But I think it's important to highlight the investment that you put into that, for the quality guarantee to the listeners. People don't understand that the last line of defense between you enjoying a band and not enjoying a band is the quality of the system that projects it to you.
And the sound man, very underrated.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to make it or break the show, though. So
Is it Jeff that runs on Thursday nights?
Jeff Vance, he does a great job.
I adore that man.
And let me tell you something, how hard it is to run sound on Thursday night, because it's not one fucking thing. There's 25 different people going up and down, and you have to be on top of it, and you're just like, how is he doing this? Like, we have sound guys that refuse to work Thursday nights. I don't blame them.
I could imagine why.
Yeah.
But to have a musician, especially a bass player, who normally runs sound for his band while he plays bass, like, that's what I got. I got a bass player that loves to run sound while he's playing bass. Those are maniacs of people, and they like the challenge, and they can deal with the ifs that come along with that. But boy, is it scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you did a really special thing by putting that in there and giving all these bands a better opportunity to sound their best.
Yes.
Because almost no one can afford that system. But also, no one has the time to go get a room primed for that kind of thing. Yeah. You know, I have one solution for what I'm going to bring in to run sound for whether it's your wedding or an outdoor event or this bar that doesn't want to provide sound.
Right.
And there's some clubs in the city that will screw you over on a house system that sounds horrible. And it's like, here's your options. You can either drag in your stuff and look like the idiot that needs to bring their own stuff because they don't know how to use this, or you can suffer in silence at the quality curve that they've set you up with.
Man, I would bring in my own shit.
I most of the time I do. And they make jokes about how long it takes to. It's like, I am here.
Laugh as much as you want, dude.
This is how we do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I always want, I remember saying, my general manager, Sean, I remember saying to him when I first opened it, when we turned into the big music venue that we did, I said, I'm going to have to buy a system because I got a music venue. I got to have to buy the system. But there was no way I could afford it at that time. And he was like, okay, in time. And I finally got like a friend of mine from Second Wind, Dawn Hudson from Second Wind. They play the horns and all. Do you know them?
Yeah.
Love them. Well, they sold me their old system. And so I had that up for a while. And I was like, well, this is good. This is good. And then everybody was like, I don't know how to use this. You got to plug this in. I was like, all right, the time has finally come.
Yes.
I have to come up with this money, and I'm buying this fucking system.
Yeah.
And it's a great purchase.
And you didn't hesitate before going the extra mile to make sure that's a system that's going to last, because there's nothing that degrades in quality quicker than PA.
Correct.
It's like you can buy cutting edge, and in 2 years, it's a piece of junk.
Yeah, I'm a true believer. If you're going to do something, just do it right.
Yeah.
You're going to save yourself a lot of money.
My wife's that type of person. I'm the kind of guy that hangs stuff up without really looking at what I'm hanging up, and I put a bunch of holes in the wall.
Oh, no, I do that too, though.
Okay, cool.
I do that too. I was like, I got this, because I also am so stubborn that I'm like, I got this. I know this. Yeah. I know this. It's fine.
And so outside of everything you do to make this bar excellent, to build the kind of atmosphere that you want to go to yourself, it's the rescue, it's having a good partner. You got any other weird hobbies that make you a human being?
Listen, I'm weird. I am super weird.
We can tell.
Yeah,
you haven't been hiding it.
Yeah, okay, cool.
The popcorn machine's enough for me to be like, someone here's got some bizarre taste.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm like, someone butters this shit up real good. And
real good.
It geeks me out every time.
What am I weird? I think everything I do is always a little weird. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Come to the bar if you want to find out. I'm sure you're over there playing a game on your phone at some point. We can find out more.
Yeah.
Wait till they have Sims on the iPhone. Then it's going to really take people down.
I remember that. Wasn't that like where like the...
You have to live
hooker?
a life inside your life. That's GTA, I think.
Okay. No, I think Sims was like, it was like the before GTA, and you were like, turn left. And it would turn left or something? I don't know.
You were like kind of looking at like the top of somebody's house and like making them navigate around and whatnot.
Okay. This microphone just got really...
I try to avoid that, but like, again, I'm not the best sound guy, so like it does what it does.
I just heard myself really well.
Yeah. Well, as we conclude today, is there anything that you want to promote with the bar, anything you want to tell people?
I want to tell people to please spay and neuter your animals and to love your animals and carry your animals and treat them like the breathing creatures that they are. To be kind, because kindness is the most important thing in this world. And I would love for you to join us at the Belle and the Bear for some great music and some great people and some great times and just be a decent fucking human.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
The Bob Barker stuff kind of threw me off, but I'm glad you started there, you know?
I liked Bob Barker and I love animals, so, you know.
So why is it a thing to preach the spay and neuter? Just like there's so many strays going out there and like.
Well, let me explain what. Oh yeah, so there are an overabundance of
People spray painting their cats.
Stray animals at this moment. There's dogs are being euthanized in shelters by mass amounts on a daily basis because there are more stray dogs out there than there are places for them to go. People are doing a lot of backyard. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with reputable breeders. It's the puppy mill breeders. These are the breeders. If you don't know what they are, these are the people that keep their dogs in a tiny box, throw food at them, abuse them, don't groom them. They shit and piss in this box. They don't even step outside. The only time they step outside is to fuck another dog so they can make these puppies for these dogs. And it's abuse and it's horrible. So it's the backyard breeders and the puppy mills and the people that don't spay and neuter their dogs because they're just, and then abandoning them and then they're just mating and making more dogs.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to tell you what to do, but I want you to know that it's just dogs are dying by the dozens, and we can't save them all. We just can't. And so we would love it if people just cared a little bit more.
Yeah, you need to be taking a step above when you have a pet, and I'm realizing this for the first time. I never had my own pet.
Yeah.
Me and my wife have a cat. It's like seeing that for an entity of the same quality of life that you live.
Why isn't it though?
Maybe it's the communication barrier. Maybe it's just that simple fact, like things that don't look like you don't consider to be like you.
I don't know. It breathes.
And there's things even past animals that you need to consider in that same way, whether that's plants or any kind of microbial life. Like you can't guard all life at the same extent, but you can at least make some space in your mind for those things, especially when you call one your family member and you treat them shitty by giving them just kibble every day and they never live their own life. Here's a dumb thought I have a lot. Does my cat want to kill? I don't know. I've never let him try. But cats like to hunt.
They sure do. My cat loved to kill mice.
He's kind of soft, though, so I don't know if he's capable of it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, am I denying him a fun hobby?
But at least you thought enough about that. I mean, that's kind of nice, right?
It's because I really like pot, you know? I'm just looking at my cat, I'm like, what are your hobbies, man? Like,
what do you
doing?
like to do, buddy?
If I wasn't here right now, what would you be up to? But, you know, just letting your animals express who they are and trying to find activities with them that are part of their being more than just letting them be a part of your, you know, couch display and part of your Instagram.
Well, I think that, and that's, my dogs, my animals are my family. A lot of us can't have children or didn't have human children, and these dogs are our children because of whatever reason they are. They're just our kids. And I treat them, you know, they get babysitters. They go to daycare during the day. I will sell my fucking house to make sure my dog, and so will your mother.
We also told me you bought your house for the dogs.
I literally, but don't tell my husband because he's gonna. But I bought my house. I live on 5 acres in this, like in the woods, so my dog could fucking run around and have the best senior life. He's almost 15 because guess what? That brings me fucking joy. Okay, and it makes him happy. And why wouldn't you want to make an animal happy? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So if you're gonna take life into your world, make sure you treat it with the same reverence of your own.
Just please do. Yeah.
Well, as I've told you before, you are a bad motherfucker, and we're better off to have you. So thank God you came on today, my friends. Please go check out the Belle and the Bear. Check out Hall Around Town, a great program.
Please check around Hall Around Town with Scott
Thursdays?
Hall. Yeah. Oh, no, we do Tuesdays.
Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Tuesdays with the band and whatnot, or
Well, he does Wednesdays with the band. And then
Cool.
on Thursdays, he will tell you if you submit your music, all of the bands that are playing at whatever venue.
yeah, he's a wonderful advocate for all
is.
things live music,
is.
and it seems like a really sweet fella.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
okay, players, thanks for watching. Peace.
Bye.